Hello? Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to VRML Final Assault. Heathen versus Sporks. It's been a rough little delayed situation we had here, but I am finally up and running for the most part, I hope to God. And right away we can see both players are choosing the Galland German Infantry Division. Wonderful division. I know it is Sporks' favorite division in the entire game, so he will definitely be comfortable this game. I've not seen much of Heathen on this character, so that's exciting. He usually kind of focuses on the air division, such as Nichols. You can see right away the classic 2 infantry, 1 bazooka trooper from Sporks. And Heathen, even though he's playing more of a ground-focused division, is deciding to add some planes fighters to kind of clear out every lane, as he is accustomed to do so. Here we have a nice little tank going down the mid lane, probably to guarantee that early crate drop, and in case it goes in the middle, he'll get that nice map pressure there. Just go ahead and move this over here. Alright, sorry. And yeah. It's been a while since I casted, so please excuse me if this is like super unprofessional. I was trying to get some new assets going on for the VRML, so some exciting stuff when I actually get those working for the next stream. But I will be streaming as pretty much every game I can this week to kind of get back in the swing of things. So if any audio issues are happening or something's too loud, please let me know. First crate drop of the game is happening, and it looks like it's dropping on this top left corner, and you can see Heathen. This is kind of his special strat, where he likes to always have those tanks placed early in the game to get that free money pressure. So he will get the first crate, and it's up to Sporks now to basically overwhelm with his infantry, and later when he gets the tier 4 unit, the tank destroyers, he will probably start trying to regain control of the map at once. But until now, the actual map control is pretty even in terms of infantry. The planes from Heathen are not allowing any of Sporks' powerful infantry and massive infantry to getting too far past that middle area, except this one lone guy. Let's watch him get eviscerated by these towers in just a moment here. Yeah, but there he goes. We see both players are focusing on this bottom lane. A lot of players like to focus on this lane primarily due to the actual building presence here. Allows ground units to easily kind of swerve in and out without taking too much fire. You can see Heathen was trying to use his normal tank to take out this artillery unit with the 2 shots that it takes, but as soon as Sporks saw that, he quickly backed that thing out of there. Alright. See here, the artillery getting some insane range right there. And we do have a turret destroyer out, but not from Sporks. It's actually getting rushed out by Heathen. And he's already got 2 right now, so that's going to be some early rough pressure for Sporks. I don't know if Sporks actually expected that Heathen would be playing the Galland class division. And the second crate also goes to Heathen, so he can continue his advances early on in this game. So usually a player who is playing Galland in defensive against these tank destroyers would want to either start spamming out his own tank destroyers or pull out a nice dive bomber. But due to the fact that Heathen kind of has control of the air, mostly, well, he did, until Sporks correctly started spamming out fires to regain control of the air, so he'll eventually be able to actually dive bomb those ground units from the air. You can see Heathen's trying to back out his units a little bit closer to his base. I think he's expecting that those dive bombers will be coming out, and I don't think he wants to actually spend too much money right now on a on any more anti-air fighters. But he does get the anti-air ground unit out, getting some nice poking at these fighters that are just kind of flying in circles right above this bottom lane. And you can kind of see something interesting here is Sporks is trying his best to move his infantry kind of areas where they will not get hit by the tank destroyers and their weird angles they have on this map. Of course, he has to kind of also be careful that they don't go out in lane and get smashed by that either. But a lot of micro, and you can see how quickly he micros those units back in. I think he was actually trying to dodge this nuke that we're seeing right now, but there's a little bit of a game delay. So it looks like that Sporks did actually dodge his units very correctly in doing so. We are seeing Sporks' first tank destroyer did come out and is right here getting a nice defensive position. So anything that comes from this middle nook and cranny right here will be able to basically get destroyed, except he is moving up the lane now. And strange thing is, Heathen was the first to get the tank destroyers out, but now he has nothing. And Heathen also did not decide to go with any infantry at all. So as time goes on, and as Sporks sort of has the air, without any fighters of Heathen taking out the waves of infantry coming in, Sporks will come back in this game, purely just from the infantry presence. And that nuke, as we saw earlier, didn't actually stop that, so kind of the hope that Heathen had for kind of allowing him to come back earlier when we first started seeing the signs of troubles did not work out for him. But you can see he's definitely, both players are definitely focused on this corner lane over here. Not much happening on the other side of the map. The tank that was here since the beginning, kind of focusing this crate drop area, is still there. A couple tanks are being pushed down the lane, and this tank that was in the middle did seem to get destroyed not too long ago. The artillery units here doing some massive amounts of damage, not allowing any of these infantry troops to push forward, or I guess walk forward. So yeah, we're gonna have one of those cast of games, you know. Just pretend there's ants walking across the map. I'm sure they're there. Air battle happening again in this game to gain air dominance. Sporks matching his air with the ground AA to get that full-on advantage, and it worked beautifully. Heathen slowly stacking up his tank destroyers yet again, realizing he's going to play a little bit more defensively and where he's placing these. So both players have about a couple to a few tank destroyers on each side. Interesting, these tanks in the middle here just kind of slowly sitting here in case any crate drops happen. Also kind of slows down the infantry pushes if there are any down this middle X mark corner. We're having the first tank destroyer battle, or one of the first. And you can see, as I was saying earlier, these buildings make it very difficult. It's all about how you maneuver your troops around these few buildings here. Usually people like to kind of corner by having one strong unit go one side, the other down the other side. But here, Heathen's just deciding, I gotta be a little more careful. I'm just gonna put these guys back in defensive position and continue building my future units from there on. So yeah, we are seeing 3 tank destroyers from each side. These 3 are just kind of sitting over here, firing at things. And looks like this will be the 3rd cargo crate of the game. And it is landing directly on the opposite side. So this will be very difficult for Heathen to get. As we can see, Sporks has quite a lot of units already stationed right over here. So this will give more money for Sports to invest in his beloved tank destroyers. This one tank destroyer, by the way, is going to be the opposite of created. Yeah, you can see Heathen's trying quickly to do all he can against this bombardment of tank destroyers that are slowly creeping in his base, but do that artillery in combination with these tank destroyers, way too difficult. And I'm sure Sporks is going to want to micro his tank destroyers to take out this artillery as well, which he does do so right there, which will allow pretty much any long-range damage from these tank destroyers to happen. I really don't know what could be done. We also see the Beautiful spork spamming of the normal tanks as well, which also takes some draw fire from the main artillery. And any tank destroyers that come out defensively from Heathen will also fire upon these normal tanks. So both towers are down on this bottom lane. So we have the infantry as well as the tank destroyers, the AA, and the normal tanks. Sporks has pretty much everything except the air, and he doesn't really need the air in this situation, so he might be able to take this game very soon here. He is focusing a little bit more on the middle towers, probably to get a little bit more of an angle to take out any artillery that can station right there. But for the most part, I think this is a very hard situation for Heathen. He gets out that last ditch defense, tank destroyers right down the middle lane. But as I said, we just see that artillery and those two tank destroyers walking down the bottom lane. And we'll see what Heathen decides to do. The base is actually taking its first shots from tank destroyers. There are 3 in the bottom lane. The only defensive tank destroyer that Heathen had is down, and I just don't think there's much to say other than rip in peace Heathen's base. And Sporks will take game 1 against Heathen. The Gallon versus Gallon was a little bit too much for Heathen to take in this first game 1. Sporks, it being his most favorite character, really showed in this quick, about 10-minute game. But I'm sure Heathen has a lot more tricks on his sleeve, and we'll come back right away in the next match. So stay tuned for that. Welcome back, everybody! So this is one of my favorite maps, Operation Daylight, Daybreak. It apparently has multiple names. Again, we're seeing another mirror match from Heathen versus Sporks in this game 2, with Sporks ahead 1. So both players are playing the Beaumont U.S. Armor Division, one of the most hated or loved, depending on who you ask, divisions in the game. And we see Heathen already getting out some basic troop trucks to allow this short bottom curved lane to get some more troop pressure, while Spork seems to be just rushing for the upgrades, trying to get that early tier 3 units, that ATG, or maybe he's going to rush straight for the Calliope in this game. You can see Heathen is sending out a fighter to do similar work as in the first game to take out these infantry, as well as Sporks sending out fire just to stop this from happening. You see there's also an artillery defensively placed in Sporks' base to stop any infantry from the ground way instead of the fighter way, and it's going to do pretty well. No true air dominance yet. We see both players are just focused on taking each other's fighters out right now. And I think Sporks is getting near that tier 4 unlock if he plans to do so. Heathen is at his full bar of money as well. We'll see what he does with all that money, maybe for the upgrade for him too. And we are seeing that Sporks decided, instead of going for that tier 4 upgrade, I think he did something with the money, unless the money bars are not accurately showing. But just a lot of the same, a lot of microcontrol of the air units, taking out these basic infantry. Kind of what makes playing these non-infantry specialized characters kind of lame is just seeing your infantry trucks early on just get microed and just destroyed throughout all phases of the game due to the easy fighter swipes. Alright, the first ATG is out, and it's from Heathen, it seems. Getting some nice, beautiful, questionable angle damage onto those towers. Takes a lot of hits from an ATG to take out a tower, but as long as it's there for a very long time, we'll be able to do so. Alright, both players have unlocked the tier 4 units. The Calliopes will be coming out as soon as possible. I know Sporks, when he does play this this division, he does like getting them out early, kind of rushing a little bit. I know he stated that quite a bit in communication with me. And you can see right here, it's already coming out right of the base right here, going down this top lane in concordance with his infantry that are also being placed out by these trucks that he placed in his top lane, opposite of what Heathen was doing. And the first crate drop is on the middle. And I don't see any players grabbing that right now. I don't know if that's just purely a visual thing or not, but we see the top lane, there is some battles happening. Couple tanks in with the Calliope is also doing very hard work. It'll take quite a bit to take these things out. No ATGs are stationed in this top lane, so for a while I think Sporks will have control of this top area. Alright, that's a very nice placement of the Calliope from Heathen. Gets a lot of nice range damage down this hill. So it allows that Calliope that Sporks actually had out here, in with his tanks, to be destroyed early. Guess he just didn't really see those double Calliopes in the middle, just as I didn't when I was casting this. And those are just being very devastating to this lane that Sporks has invested so highly in. Now that Sporks doesn't really have any Calliopes out, this could be pretty rough for, yeah, Sporks' base. You can see he's already focusing on the towers and infantry.
We should do something about these enemy forces attacking our towers. They've taken one down.
And the first tower does go down on Sporks' base. And it wasn't even the Calliope that took it out. It was purely just his ATG being not contested whatsoever. We see a second ATG. This is looking like a very rough situation for Sporks. just raining upon damage on the base and anything else in the base that my eyes, for whatever reason, cannot see. Alright, we're seeing some Calliope versus Calliope action yet again. Basically, whoever moves in the correct pattern the best wins in these sort of engagements. And it looks like a Calliope from Sporks came kind of from the side, out of Heathen's eyes, and took out both anti-tank guns in the middle lane. So that gives Sporks quite a lot of more breathing room to be able to send some units to take out any of these Calliopes in the middle. And we are also seeing a artillery barrage coming from Sporks onto Heathen. Maybe that's what actually took out the ATGs in the middle there. Not completely sure, but the Calliopes from Sporks have surprisingly already come to attack Heathen's base, and Heathen's base, his towers are almost down completely. Only a few more barrages from these Calliopes will take down this second tower here in this bottom lane. Meanwhile, that ATG's in the center is just again poking at this tower one by one, trying to take it down. This Calliope versus Calliope in this Beaumont mirror match. And you know, I'm having some great old-fashioned observer stuff happening again. Can't escape it. Cannot escape it. A little bit of fire battles happening here. Both players are probably just using the fires again to keep the infantry pushed back to allow their pushes to progress a little bit more. And pretty similar game. I thought it was going to be a kind of bit of a stomp from Heathen against NotSporks, but both players are slowly coming back and forth, attacking each other in all the right ways. As terms as the observer bugs going, I want to remind people that, at least from my experience when I run into these bugs, the players that actually playing the games generally don't get as many bugs as we're seeing here. They see the correct game. It's just purely observer mode crap happening. So, yeah, hopefully that's all fixed because, yeah. So, Sporks loves spamming out tanks with Gallon, but it's even better with Beaumont. $6 is a tank. If you have full bar, you can spam out 5 tanks, which feels very satisfying. Really, spamming out any unit, Jeeps, tanks, or anything cheap, just feels good. I know I enjoy it, but these tanks will not survive this. That is a nasty bombardment of Calliope damage from both the top and lower ground. Even controlling the air. And another artillery barrage which took out a lot of the units that a Heathen had stationed there. Mostly ATGs and all that good stuff. I can assume. Look at that Calliope. Yeah. Can you imagine if the Calliopes had that much range? Dear God. That would make me quit the game. Alright. So yeah, this is basically a race of whoever can get their Calliope closer to the base faster for the longest amount of time. And this is just such a good map for Calliopes in general. Just short distances that they have to actually traverse across the map to get the places they want to do damage to. I'm just surprised players are not... I'm pretty sure if players place their Calliopes like on the edge of these ridges here, they get some really free damage on any troop transports. They're just kind of sitting on the edges of their bases, but maybe players are doing that, I just can't see it, but it seems to work for me. Look at all those Calliope shells. I don't know why. Whenever I see Calliope shells like this, I just question everything. I look at this, I'm like, huh. Yeah, that looks like a pretty good unit, you know? I just look at it, I'm like, dang, that's an amazing unit. What a great unit that is. And you literally don't know a lot of the time if your unit survived the Calliope barrage until all the explosions are disappeared. And you're like trying to find your unit in that giant explosion barrage. You just can't find it. You're trying to micro it, but you're selecting 2 units that are in that giant dust cloud. You don't know if you selected the right one. Something I've noticed more recently. We got some nice people here. They're all lining up each other's sites. Very nice, very teamwork efficient. Look at that, oh my goodness. Absolute destruction. Somehow not destroying this tank though, I guess? What? Impossible. No way. That can't be right. There's 3 freaking Calliope. Okay, alright. That was pretty funny. There's literally just 3 Calliopes firing on this single tank with like 10 HP. And they were all missing. That was great. Alright, another artillery barrage. Probably gonna be in the middle again. Am I correct? Nope, looks like they were targeting what I'm guessing was the troop transports? Do not know if they actually got them. Alright, Heathen taking control of this bottom hill. Now there's some range. That's the next Special Forces patch. After Beaumont players are like... I still don't even know, like... I think Beaumont's still pretty viable in the next patch. But anyway, another artillery barrage up on this bottom hill from Sporks this time. Probably killed something. Not sure. Not sure. Oh wow, looks like there was also an artillery barrage onto Sporks' base. And it looked like it took out quite a bit. It looks like Sporks was trying to micro them out of the way, but it did not end up working in his favor. I'm sure we'll eventually see that artillery barrage happen. And our ATG slowly creeping on this hill for some extra range damage on this lane. It's so depressing when this happens. I really love casting, but, you know... I know we're supposed to be positive all the time, but... like, I can't cast like this. It's so sad. I work so hard to get everything going. And then even still, it doesn't work for me. Who do I think is winning this? That's a great question.
Tower, this is Hercules. Dropping cargo crate now.
I think both players are losing. Hey, there's that artillery barrage from earlier that took out a lot of Sporks' stuff. I mean, it looks like Heathen's focusing more on map control. Like, maybe probably should. He keeps spamming out ATG in the middle, get that easy map control. Sporks is focusing more on trying to get these Calliopes across the map faster. But, I mean, generally both things work, especially on this map, so... Whoever has more Calliope at a time is basically winning, and I'm just gonna say Sporks is winning just because he has 3 out, apparently, right now. Four out. I generally don't really see the use in infantry this game. I think this is not a very good infantry map. Especially when you're Beaumont and your infantry get wiped by any planes flying around. So, I don't know. It's hard not to go infantry in general because you're just like... fun to go infantry. Watch things happen without your control. Give something. I mean, that's true. Yeah, the infantry do give stuff for the Calipes to waste shots on. But I would generally hope that the players are microing the Calipes to attack the correct targets. Which I mean, they seem to most of the time. I don't know. I really don't know, I guess. But I mean, like you see right here, Heathen is microing his fighters to wipe out anything in the lane. So I'm assuming there's infantry crawling across these lanes, and Heathen is taking them out with his fighters. So I don't know. We are seeing a Calliope crawling on this bottom lane. I guess is this game? What? There it is. Yep. I think Sporks is about to win because there you go, Calliope. Good job, Sporks. Very nice. I wish I could see more of what was happening in that game, but very nice stuff. I'm gonna try to hop in right away to the next game and hope that I think I'm gonna literally try to not to alt tab at all. See if that works, but yeah. What's the last map? I don't even know. Forest Edge. Oh, I love that map. I used to hate that map, but there's some ways I found it to be more fun over time. Like, I remember my first months playing that map, I was like, I hate it. I hate it so goddamn much. But recently, I'm like, oh, I can do this on this map? Oh, crap, I love this map. Alright, so, Heathen is able to pick whatever character he wants. And Sporks cannot play Beaumont or Galland. And we're just gonna literally go right away as soon as they ready up, because and I know I should hide this, but I'm scared to alt tab because I think it might be causing bugs. But go Flan, ready up. Ready up, 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 ready up. Please, for the love of God, ready up. Yeah, the empty lane maps are the best. I agree with that. I like the empty lanes. They're nice. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, alright. No alt tabbing. We're going right in this. Game 3. Sporks ahead 2 games against Heathen. No alt tabbing. Won't be my fault. Alright. I am loving this matchup a lot. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be wonderful. So we have Heathen playing the classic Heathen Nichols. Probably, I think it's his favorite still. I'm not sure. But it's been him in my favorite for a while. And Sporks going with the Simmons division. So this is wonderful. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Something surprised me about this matchup in the Challenger Cup, I believe, of the last season. I was pretty surprised how effective Simmons was against Nichols, albeit that's because characters are garbage, I think. But alright. Early on, Heathen taking out the early lanes of troops spawning right away. NotSporks will probably quickly get his planes out to defend against that. It'll be a little bit harder due to the Heathen being an air division. We'll be able to have cheaper planes, and that investment will not really die later on as he is the U.S. air division. We see Heathen also put a couple of basic troop trucks in this bottom lane to get some pressure, and NotSporks already has a basic artillery unit here to basically stop that. So both players kind of thinking ahead a little bit. Artillery misses the first shot, but will not miss future shots as soon as the troops stop the fire at the tower. Alright, we see infantry firing at each other in what looks like to be like a quick draw competition. Oh, poor guy. And Sporks is focusing heavily on this, I guess you could say, top lane with a few basic infantry and a single RPG truck. So showing his cards early, showing who exactly Sporks is playing this game, while Heathen doing it similar to what he did in Game 1, had a single tank kind of on all the markers he could early in the game, and allows him to get that early investment to upgrade quickly to that P-38 Tier 4. Sporks, being a very well-known player to a lot of the other players, kind of knows the ins and outs of a lot of strats that people like me and Heathen like to do. So if he sees planes and not many units coming out early, he kind of knows that he needs to probably prepare for the P-38 later on. I know it's hard for me to play Nichols against Sporks these days because he kind of knew I was going to play Nichols. Alright, so you can see Heathen here doing very well with his planes, wiping out all the infantry spawning from these trucks in this bottom lane. And, crap, already. That's not, I'm worried now. And as you can see here, as I said, before the P-38 even comes out on my screen, we're seeing the ground AA unit coming down right over here. And it's going to be very careful because there is a tank on Heathen's side. And, oh, that'll look good. A Jeep as well. So that will not last long. But we are seeing some mortar troopers being made, it seems. Going down the middle lane. Oh, that was a ginormous explosion for a tiny Jeep. So, a quick look at the map. We can see mostly all the focus on that top left lane of your screen. And all these basic troops being created by Heathen on this bottom lane has not really done much for him due to the single artillery. Only took out about 20% of this tower. And another ground AA coming out from Sporks, trying to get some free damage on all these planes circling above the center ice lake. See Heathen trying to send in a few ground tanks to kind of defend those. And the P-38 class has been unlocked, so we will probably see some glorious P-38 action. And as well, Sporks has the bomber unlocked, so we might see some bombing runs pretty soon here. Probably not, though. He needs to actually force his hand to make Heathen's fires pretty much go bye-bye if he wants to have that bomber really do anything effectively. And you can see here another ground AA being sort of escorted by a lone Jeep. Or maybe not. The Jeep is actually just kind of trying to drive, but sitting here and actually doing something against these infantry. Probably not on purpose, but either way, working out for him. Looks like Spork's trying to bait some fighters close to the enemy or his base. And the P-38 comes out early and takes out 5 whole units. 2 of those which were at least the RPG troopers at the least. So taking those out was definitely a very profitable situation for Heathen. We're just seeing a lot of ground AA coming from NotSporks, doing his best to take out these fighters. Sporks just needs to get control of that air if he wants to do any bomber runs. And that crate is at the top corner of the map, and I don't think anyone's there yet. Looks like Heathen is kind of there. Not sure if he got it or it's delayed, or he has to move his tank just a tiny bit, but it looks like Heathen should be able to get that. Wait, let's see. Looks like there's a sneaky tank here. What's going on? Alright, Heathen did get that. And I think Sporks was trying to get that tank over there before Heathen noticed that was actually there and he needed to move his tank a centimeter. But a classic air versus air battle happening here. A lot of ground AA, a lot of base AA, a lot of fighters just doing damage versus each other. Oh, I love watching it. I just love to watch it. I don't like to micro it anymore, but I love to watch it. And all those fighters that Heathen had, and he also had a P-38 trying to take out that ground AA near Sporks base as well. Did not work out for him, but we are seeing the first bomber as well. Already at half health purely just with the fighters that Heathen had slowly like trying to chip away at the damage, and it did very well. This bomber is literally on life support, and now someone pulled the plug on that bomber. So yeah, I think it was this one, Ghost Plane. So yeah, the actual air count is pretty basic for both sides. It says Heathen has 6 planes somewhere on the map, but I don't see that. The interesting thing about Simmons is as long as he can get his troops slowly building up, which has been pretty difficult thanks to Heathen's P-38s, he will eventually win a long game. Generally, in my opinion. But like I said, Heathen targeting the correct troop trucks he should with his P-38s early on. Stop that pressure from these higher tier bazooka troopers and mortar troopers as well. I think we're gonna start having, yeah, we're already starting to have issues. Cool. Heathen rebuilding his air force here and near his side of the base. He knows that against Sporks, he needs to basically have air control if he's gonna win this game. Those bombers are scary, and it's pointless to have a P-38 unless you have this giant swarm of bees storming around your area. Why are they on fire? Okay. A couple troops just spontaneously combust on this snow map, so that's great. You see Sporks again still trying to push this top lane with a single ground tank. Probably just to get a little bit more pushing power, realizing that a lot of these troops are kind of getting mowed down by these fighters over time, and just kind of getting an extra tank, basic tank, to get a little bit more pushing power, which will go down pretty soon against that defensive artillery and all the troops that are being spawned. A lot of units on the map now as we're approaching 9 minutes. A lot of units here in the middle, basic tanks just to get the full control of these X marks. And I think we're having, yeah, we're full on mode, you know? Full on, I can't do anything about this mode, but here's a bomber from Sporks. Not being contested whatsoever. Just kind of floating around here, enjoying its little life, and is about to go in for what seems to be a bombing run on something. I'm sure there's something there at one point. And the bomber does go down due to Heathen's bee swarm. But while that's happening, look at this. It's 2 ground AA. The ground AA centipede taking out any fighters that got near that bomber. Getting these units pretty dangerously close to this artillery unit, however. Those are probably pretty easy for Heathen to get a Jeep out so close to his base. Of course, Spork does have that single basic tank defensively for any little cheap Jeep yeeps. Yeah, there was a Jeep eventually trying to make its way out to take out that AA. But it's a little scared. It's very cold. It's like the groundhog. Groundhog saw its shadow and it's just gonna stay in the garage forever. Yeah, I like these 2 ground AA. Using these bombers as bait purely to take out this Air Force. And it seems like it's working. I'm sure he's losing these bombers by doing this, but I like it. And looks like he's trying to take out a basic tank with the bomber, and it does eventually go down from that engagement.
This is Hercules. Drop it.
The ice lake. I feel like someone just slipped around, fell over. This looks like it'll be the 3rd crate of the game. Probably will be going to, oh, we'll be going to Sporks. I think that will be going to Sporks as long as that Jeep is accurate. We're not seeing many mortar troopers from Sporks, him being Simmons. You think you see more of that, but we are seeing a huge tank brigade in this top lane. Now it's near impossible to get near these AA without a P-38, which is also pretty difficult due to the fact that he has a bomber and some planes hovering about around here. So P-38's kind of sad right now. And these tanks are rushing in hard. I think they're rushing in. Yep, they're just slowly trying to take out infantry that are there. It's Halloween, you know, infantry are kind of like ghosts in this game right now. But tanks are doing some wonderful damage on this tower. It's always surprising to see just a couple of tanks do such massive damage to towers. But yep, that is what they do. They can do that. And we're not seeing any defensive artillery from Heathen in this base area, at least yet. We're seeing some insane damage actually here in the middle. It's doing like, I think these towers are gonna be gone. Like a couple more shots from these tanks and these bazooka troopers, and there's no way, absolutely no way. And looks like Sports Ray sending his tanks into the base. Well, he tried to. But three towers down on Heathen's side. And there's still damage being done to this other fourth tower in this lane. These towers all gone. It'll be so hard to stop any units or tanks or any other units to basically just walk in the base and snipe any ground trucks or units that are just kind of defending. We are seeing what looks to be a artillery barrage happening from Sports onto Heathen. Not sure what he took out. He took out whatever those two things were. Looks like they were tanks at one point. And now we're back at the sticky stalemate. But we're definitely seeing a huge advantage for Sporks right now. And not much to say other than that. Four towers down in the most hard to defend lanes is no joke. I say hard to defend because generally this bottom lane's easier to defend due to all these extra slopes here that people can place artillery and other units to defend against. That was a nasty artillery shot on those ground troop trucks, but compared to here, I guess there can be safer because you can place artillery in the bottom area, but once these towers are down, there's nothing stopping those tanks from rolling up easily and sniping those artillery units. And we are seeing more bombardment of tanks. We're not even really seeing any bombers focused from Sporks. It's normal tanks rolling on in. Probably would be the best time to see a P-38 come out, but we're not seeing it. We are seeing the bomber though come on in. Looks like he's focusing on, I believe, the AA and the base AA, both at the same time. Let's see if that works out for him. Yep, it worked out great. So he has that whole corner opened up for any future bombing runs or purely to kind of defend against any P-38s that come out. Send in fighters, get a little bit less damage on his defensive fighters. Greatest defense is the best offense. Another crate. Another crate, that's great. It's also funny, so this will also go to Sporks, this crate, but it's also funny, we were talking about earlier how Heathen tried to have some early pressure on this bottom tower with those basic units, but even at this point in the game, they're just, that tower didn't go down. It's like both sides tried to do an artillery barrage. Oh, it was a double artillery barrage from Sporks onto Heathen's base. So basically anything that was in that courtyard, even if it tried to dodge or not, melted under the pure pressure of that base attack. So we're just waiting. Heathen is at half health. Not much defenses, not much troop trucks, infantry presence, even an air force at this point to stop what's happening. And you can already see artillery's locked on the base. Not the most difficult thing to stop from attacking your base, but my guess is here it probably is the end, and you can see that right there. Heathen's base, 25% health. The ground AA units from Sporks are also walking on in to stop any P-38s. Well, was probably trying to, but it didn't work because, you know, P-38. And just barely Heathen surviving at what looks to be 0, not surviving.
So I'm glad you made sure we did.
So congratulations, NotSporks. Sporks will go on 3-0 in this game. Fortunately, again, I'm still having issues with the observer mode, I guess, and they have for all 3 games this time. Oh, whoa, where did these guys come from? Holy crap! Dude, that's terrifying. I can like that. I like it. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. But yeah, I'm glad I. Thanks for watching, everyone. Even though there wasn't much to watch. But again, congratulations, Sporks, and see you next time. Hopefully, I'll get all the kinks fixed, or I don't even know anymore if they will get fixed. But I'll still try to cast more, and see you later.